All right, everyone, going to be getting into the top picks for the Thursday night showdown slate, and I actually have a really strong build, first look build here that I'll show you guys at the end of the video. Feeling pretty good about it. Kind of is really one of the first showdown lineups that have really come together exactly how I want to really all year. A lot of this year, the lineups have been, where you're not feeling as good about it, not as comfortable as you would want it to be. A lot of it has just kind of been, oh, I'm forced to play this guy, or I have to fade this player. Where with this build, I kind of like the chances of it to cash. So we'll start off just kind of breaking down the slate, and then we'll get into that lineup at the end of this. So what I like to do, kind of breaking down showdown slates, is really focus on how a team is going to win the game. So you can kind of build a lineup that way. Obviously, with the Kansas City Chiefs, it really more or less looks like they might get it done on the ground, which is kind of what they've been focused on lately. I do think Travis KELCE and TYREEK are going to have some sort of regression. One of them is going to have a big game. I am thinking that's more or less going to be Travis KELCE, but I do like CEH here. So CEH has looked pretty good since coming back from his injury. Has been producing fantasy-wise, though, for sure. 15.6, 11.2, and 19.2 DK points. He's been getting used in the passing game a decent amount. Not too really worried about like Darrell Williams or Derek Gore getting some increased snap counts. Last week's game was really a blowout. CH was able to hit value. Not too worried about that. Going against the Chargers, who have been one of the worst run defenses in the league, I think CH at that price point is going to be a highly appealing play. Now, I did mention Travis KELCE in passing. I do really like him as a pick. So the targets have really been there for him the whole season besides last week. They didn't need him. Okay, I'm not too worried about that. It does suck that the game prior against Denver didn't really do much, but those were kind of 2 weeks in which you were a little bit worried about it just given the matchup. Now, great matchup. I do expect him to have one of his bigger games that he's had this season. We look at kind of what they did week 3. 11 targets, 7 receptions, over 100 yards, 20.4 DK points from Travis KELCE. So yeah, I kind of could see that happening again. Now on the flip side, I do actually kind of worry about TYREEK Hill at this price point. It more or less seems like you got to play one or the other. And that just might not be Travis KELCE here. We know how defenses have been defending the Kansas City Chiefs, trying to keep everything in front, which has really kind of limited Hill's upside. All it takes is one big play for him to value, but those targets could be down. Didn't exactly dominate in week 3 against the Chargers earlier on this year. So for me, if I'm just looking at right now, Travis KELCE and CH are going to be the 2 players that I want the most. But there is one other player that I also really like. I'm probably going to be locking him into a lot of my builds. It's going to be BYRON PRINGLE, who has kind of been the sneaky receiver number 2 for really the past 4 weeks now. Hasn't been used too much. We saw, week 10 against the Raiders, 5 targets, a touchdown. That's great. Dallas only 2 targets. Denver only 4 targets. Hasn't been able to do much with that increased, number 2 role in that offense. But they have really liked BYRON PRINGLE this whole year. They've been mentioning him a lot in passing. That Pringle's having probably the best season of his career. That's why he's getting more playing time. And with Josh Gordon out, I think that only solidifies that he's going to be, playing those amount of snaps again. And with that, he probably will get around 3 to 4 targets. We know that the Chiefs do spread kind of the wealth among the secondary weapons, like Pringle, like Hardman, like Demarcus Robinson. So why not go with the cheapest one that's playing the most? That to me is BYRON PRINGLE at 2.6. That's a great price point. Really do like him as a pick. So if we're just looking on the Kansas City Chiefs, these are going to be the 3 players that I want the most. Obviously, if we can afford to pay it for Patrick Mahomes, should have some of him. TYREEK Hill probably should have some of him as well. It's going to be up to you guys. Darnell Williams could have value if it's a touchdown, but not really banking on that. Now let's get into the Chargers side of it. So the Chargers, I think they're a little bit easier. Why? I'm just going to do what I've been doing the whole year, guys. Every single week, I've been putting out a stack of Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, and Austin Eckler, and just really figuring out the rest. So let's just do that. Let's figure out the rest from there. Those guys have been super consistent. I've kind of mentioned this on a few videos. I've been playing Keenan Allen really for the past 2 years. Been working out really well. Not too worried about him. Coming off that COVID thing, whatever. Not too worried about that. Just been a very consistent, reliable player. Averaging over 10 targets per game with Justin Herbert as the quarterback. Really can't find that anywhere else. And then Austin Eckler, very safe and consistent player as well. Gets used a lot in the passing game. and also has that rushing upside. The only worry with him, got a little bit banged up at the end of the game. Obviously, if he is out, I'm going to like Justin Jackson. He'd probably be someone that I want to put into my captain's picks. And then from there, Mike Williams, got to monitor him. He left with an injury. Not enough news to really know what to do after that. If Mike Williams is out, it's going to be more Jalen Guyton. Whereas if like Keenan Allen was out, more Josh Palmer. It's kind of just their roles. But yeah, let's show you guys that build here real quick because I really like it. So I already mentioned my love for BYRON Pringle just as price point. 2.6 for the receiver number 2 in that offense. We'll take that. And then from there, I do really like Travis KELCE. And then 8.4 left over. Let's get Pringle in there, and the captain. And this is like in terms of trying to cash. I think this lineup path gives you the best opportunity to cash. So we're getting pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of our top plays on the slate, and then really the best value on the slate. All in the same build. Feeling pretty good about that. Obviously, if Mahomes or Hill go off, it's going to hurt a little bit, and you could easily just, make a couple switches there. So you could go, let's just get off of these two. You could go Hill. Won't be able to fit Mahomes in there, but you could go with like Buckner if you wanted to. That'd be fine. Let's see, anyone else down low? I guess you could go with Darnell Williams if you want, instead of playing CH, that's fine. But this is going back to what I was saying earlier, is that a lot of this season has been doing this at the end of this build where it's like, I guess since we have to do this, we can do it. But for the most part, I'm really feeling good about that first build. But that's all I have for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like and subscribe. A lot of news could come out before Thursday. I'm recording this on Tuesday night, so just kind of got to play it by ear. That's the one thing about Thursday Night Football is I really don't like to finalize any information until we get all the injury news, because that's really what the slate comes down to, is that 1 or 2 injury notes right before kickoff that determine a profitable or non-profitable slate. So it does really matter. This is kind of like showdown slates in the NFL are pretty much like NBA DFS slates. We're really just waiting for that injury news to come out, and then you should be making your builds. All right, thanks for watching. As always, let's keep cashing.